Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. It's Wednesday, so that means we're going to try and get a restoration started and finished today real quick. A couple of requests. Somebody had asked about doing a plier restoration start to finish. And I just happened to pick up those two that you saw from Jacktown, and it's a specialty type plier. And let me show you what those are. Now, when we talk specialty plier, here we are at the channel lock drawer. Every plier that you can buy has this kind of a certain specialty to it. For example, these are called cable cutting pliers, but they're made for copper cable and things like that. That they cut it clean, and you can cut a couple strands together. Obviously, you have your needle nose type and different jaws on here. You see here, like this curved jaw is better for round objects than the straight jaw water pump pliers, and then obviously the different sizes, and so there's a bunch of different pliers you can get into, and you know, you got some overflow up here, and those are screwdrivers down here, some more overflow. So there's a lot of different specialty pliers you can get into, but the ones we're going to talk about today are these. And you can see here I picked these up. These were $1 each at Jacktown. Here's a nice pair of needle nose. They look like they got some kind of serious gunk up here. I don't even know what that is, but it has some nice handle embellishment, so I don't even know what brand these are. But you can see these, and they're stiff, very stiff, so you know, but they look nice, right? And then these. Now, these pliers are commonly known as ironworker pliers, okay? And ironworker pliers are a little different than lineman pliers that you normally see for electricians, because they have this spring in it, and also this little kickback at the bottom, which is very important. And I'll show you what these are used for later when we strip these down. First thing we're going to do is take all the tape off the handles, and then we're going to take these, clean them up, and run them through the wire brush. Let's get that done. Okay, look at this, huh? Underneath that black electrical tape, I mean, this is all sticky, but I can clean that off with lighter fluid. Lighter fluid is excellent for getting the stickiness off. But look at it, the handles are in pretty decent shape. I don't understand why it was covered up with the black electrical tape. But anyway, that's why I never use a knife to cut through it, because not only does it score the metal, but it's just, you just unwrap it. And look at this, we were able to save those handles. That's pretty cool. Okay, here we are at our post-wire brush evaluation. We wiped down the handles. Look at this. That's a vintage can, huh? Still good. Ronsonol makes a great lighter fluid. It's great to have around the shop. You can use it for a ton of things. We'll get into that some other time. But it's fantastic for removing any kind of stickiness, sticky stickers or anything, or gum or glue. These handles are real nice. Really nice to feel. Anyway, I'm starting to think maybe this is a Taiwan brand. Maybe a, what's that new brand that Harbor Freight sells? Doyle? Maybe one of those. I don't know. But you can see here it's in decent shape. It's only got a small chip down here, and a little ding up here. Otherwise, this is in really good shape, smooth as can be. And these are Craftsman, and this isn't very tight yet, but you can see it's Craftsman. And it's vanadium steel, which is excellent. And this one was marked. You can see here somebody marked it EC. I guess that's the way you mark tools. That's nice and neat. No problem with that. It's just, you know, when you start trying to do it with a hand engraver, it looks all sloppy. Okay, now we're gonna go to the next step. We're gonna take it to the belt sander and get these down. But everything's looking real good, huh? $1 each. Okay, we're going to take a little break. We just finished doing the sanding. Came out great. We're going to go to buffing, but I got to take a little bit of a break because even though God has blessed me with good health for most of my life, I got arthritis in the neck, and it's only comes on when I look down a lot, which is when I'm grinding and buffing and sanding, so it's rough on me, you know, and I don't want to take too much medication. I don't want to take any at all, but let me tell you a funny story. True story, and it's kind of embarrassing, but you know, I figured maybe it'll help out some of you because, you know, you might be coming up and, you know, when you're young, you know, when you hit 40 years old, certain things start happening. Then when you hit 50, certain things start happening. And, you know, the older you get, the more these things start happening. But this is a true story. Yesterday, I went to, you know, usually when I shave every day, right? And I buy these disposable razors, you know. And this time I bought the 3 type, the 3 blades in one. Usually I like the 2 blades in one, but this one was the 3 blades in one. And today when I was shaving, I realized, I was like, man, you know, yesterday's shave wasn't so close. Can you believe this is a true story? So I looked at the razor today. Do you know I shaved yesterday with the plastic guard on? So, so help me God. I shaved with the plastic. I didn't even realize, because you know that this type of razor, the 3, the plastic guard it's a little bit different, and it was actually scraping, so it felt like, you know, the blade, but I was just scraping the shaving cream off my face. I wasn't cutting any whiskers, so I thought that was pretty funny today. I was like, oh, look at me. What's next, right? What happens when you're in your 60s and 70s and start doing crazy stuff? Okay, let's get to the buffing. Now you know my favorite part. Remember what these pliers look like before we started. And we're calling this project done. Look how nice these came out, huh? $1 each. First of all, let's take a look at this. The Craftsman Vanadium. Look how nice these came out, huh? I mean, and the handles. Look at that. This is just beautiful. These are beautiful pliers. Now, I didn't lubricate them yet. They're still a little bit stiff, but I'll show you that in a minute. But I didn't want to lubricate them before I showed you the finished product because the lubrication does leave a little fingerprints when you're handling it. So I figured I would show you this first. And, of course, these, the mystery pliers. I don't know what these are, but look at that, huh? Look at that. Sweet. And I gotta tell you, these handles are nice. They're like a kind of a rubbery vinyl or something. There's nothing wrong with them, but maybe somebody was, these are ironworker pliers, remember that. Maybe they were on the job and they didn't want the rest of the union guys to know they weren't using Klein, so they wrapped them in tape. Anyway, let me show you how to lubricate them and how they work. Okay, first to lubricate them, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open it up here. And I like to use a penetrating fluid. And this is my 50-50 transmission fluid and acetone. And what I do is I spray it in all the cracks here. You should be wearing gloves when you do this. You know, don't do what I'm doing here. But I'm trying not to get any on my hands. So what happens is as soon as you put that in here, look what happens, how easy it's starting to loosen up. It happens real quick. Now, here's where the fun part comes. You give it a couple sprays here, you know, and let it work into those joints. You see, it'll work in the joints, and what's going to happen is all the dirt, the grease, and everything's going to float up through this rivet here. You see that? It's going to float up, so I'm going to move it back and forth, and it's going to force, I'm trying to hold it as steady as I can for you to see, but you see what's happening? It's forcing up the dirt and the grime, and you just keep doing that, working it through. And again, anywhere there's a crack, you're going to put a little bit of fluid here. Okay, and now what's going to happen is it's going to work its way through and bubble up. And you see what's going to happen. You keep doing that until it comes out clear. After this, after it's nice and smooth like it is now, I'm going to switch to WD-40. But you see how quickly that loosened up? Okay, now after about 5 minutes, you see how smooth it is? Look at that. That's super smooth, right? But there's still a little bit of dirt and griminess. So what we're going to do is, again, you're going to put this on here. See that how it goes on clear? You see that's clear? Now watch what happens when I move this back and forth. It will always float up a little bit of darkened fluid. And you keep doing that until you don't float up that darkened fluid anymore. And when you do, which we're very close to it now because it's very clean in there, the last application will be with some light oil, like 3-in-1 oil. And then you'll put some oil in there, and then that's good to go. Now, what these pliers are primarily used for is for a rebar work. And that's why they have this little catch here that catches on your finger. And also it's set up, it's designed that what happens is when you have rebar, I don't have any rebar, so I'm using this pipe as a demonstration, but you have rebar which goes into cement to strengthen cement, and it goes up in crisscross fashion, but they got to wire it together so it don't move. So what they do typically, a lot of times too, they're wearing gloves, and the wire is a little bit thicker than this here, but they'll pass the wire underneath, grab it here with the pliers, and give it a quick turn like that. And then what they'll do a lot of times is they'll cut the piece off like this, grip the wire, grip it here like this, and twist it with the pliers until it's nice and tight. And when it is, that gives it a secure, okay, we can twist a little more than that. Obviously, I'm not a iron worker, and I have a lot of respect for those guys. Okay, so you see here how that's twisted. Now that's a real solid, and they do that for the rebar, and that's what these are for. And then if they had to cut off any excess, you know, you have the cutters that run all the way up. You know, it's a nice design, and it's spring loaded, so it's always open, you see, whereas the other ones you have to kind of keep your pinky there. And I always liked these, but I never had a pair. So little trick of the trade, I didn't want to paint because it's so humid. It takes days for enamel paint to dry. See this black here? That's magic marker. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, that was just so it looks good for the demo here. But I really like these pliers. Best buy that I think I got in a long time, and these are super smooth now, just like glass, and so smooth to the touch. All the edges are down. So hope you enjoyed this restoration of these two $1 pair of pliers from Jacktown. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you all have a nice day. Take care now. Bye bye.